Happy New Month, and thank you for joining me, Ashwin Bedi, on NMH at 1, where we highlight news making waves in Namibia and beyond, ranging from current affairs to community stories, sports and economic news. Coming up in this broadcast, court dismisses Menzies Aviation's application. Erongo RED Environmental Investment Fund to electrify 32 shack dwellers' houses with solar energy. And first ever literary festival kicks off today. Follow all our programs on oneup2.com or DSTV 285 or go TV 25 in Namibia. Midday news update up next. Judge Hanley Prinsloo this morning dismissed Menzies Aviation Namibia's application, their most recent attempt to return to the Hosea Kutako International Airport to resume ground handling services after Paragon Aviation Services, who were awarded the tender last year, took over the services 2 weekends ago. The reasons for Prinsloo's decision will be announced later today. Visual News highlights local stories from across Namibia right after the break.
Stock up and save with the best deals at WB. Get 1 litre Vita Creamy for $11.99, 2 litre Nam Milk or Maere for $44.99, 200 gram top class spice mix for $11.99, 10 kg Hotchfelt maize for $84.99, plus 2 kg surf washing powder for just $52.99. See more WB specials online at www.vurmanbrock.com. We care. We care.
Executive Director of the Education and Arts Ministry this morning officially opened Namibia's first ever literary festival, which takes place at the National Archives from today until Saturday. Steenkamp urged the Namibians to start telling the stories that are locked up inside them. Jemima Beerkus was there.
To the South, because I think this first festival, literature festival that's been organized, is filled with so much energy and vibrancy. And so much talent. You know, when Dr. Offord was speaking, I turned around to see who were taking notes. And the lady next to me, Ms. Helen Vale, who's been a senior lecturer at the University of Namibia in literature, for years was still taking notes from an acclaimed international author. Give her a round of applause. Dr. Ryu Ellis, thank you so much for joining us. Every person present here, we're delighted to have you at the very first Namibian Literature Festival. Open a book. When last did you smell a book? As Elizabeth said, our network partner, there's beauty that information is always available on the internet, but that's information. And it's not always accurate. It's not to say all books are accurate, but when last did you open a book, read a book, and fell asleep over a book? It's one of the most amazing things to do. You know, in a world where we have so much noise that's bustling with noise, distraction, volatility, uncertainty, the complexities that we face on a daily basis, the ambiguities, and with our attention, even in education and in households, drawn in different directions, this literature festival really stands out to me, ladies and gentlemen, as a beacon, because it invites us really to pause, to breathe, and engage with the beauty of the written words. And I invite you and the rest of Namibia to join us on this journey that we are embarking on, to explore and enlighten, to experience, and really to dive into this diverse literature that we have that reflects, as we heard from the previous speaker, the different voices, the stories, and the experiences of Namibia and beyond.
The regional electricity distributor Erongo RED has entered into an agreement with the Environmental Investment Fund to electrify 32 shack dwellers' houses with solar energy to the tune of $4 million Namibian in Mondesa, Swakopmund. The electrification will be done under the Towards an Inclusive Design of the Renewable Energy Transition Project, an initiative funded by the European Union in cooperation with the German Federal Ministry of Economic Cooperation and the Development through GIZ Namibia.
The fundamental aims of this project, amongst others, are to facilitate expanded access to affordable solar energy or renewable energy, in some cases, technologies, and support targeted communities with defined financial products. Number two, to achieve an electrification benchmark of up to 300 households and 5 SMEs. Number three, to implement the working concept for installation and supply chain function that speaks to current market needs. Some of these technical jargon, but access, easy subsidized access to renewable energy for energizing our households, up to 300 of them. In light of this, TTRED has resolved to bridge the gap that has existed in the mainstreaming of renewable energy into Namibia energy mix by initiating a solar electrification drive across 3 earmarked windows to provide identified communities in the Ochodonjuba, Kunene, and Erongo regions with concessionally funded solar installations along with maintenance, mentoring, capacity building, and technical development training to SME owners in the regions with businesses that are legally recognized under Namibian laws.
The Central Procurement Board of Namibia has awarded a $1.3 billion contract to a company majority owned by a 5-year-old girl. Namibian Sun has more on this as we head into the newspaper review segment.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
The Central Procurement Board of Namibia's decision to award a $1.3 billion Namibian contract to a company majority owned by a 5-year-old girl to supply pharmaceutical products to government has left other bidders baffled. The fact that the company, Cost Farm Investments Limited, was initially eliminated from the race and then bounced back through an appeal to win has made the matter even more contentious. The Home Affairs Ministry's name registration system has sparked uproar by disallowing names with click sounds in official birth certificate registrations. This decision, aimed at streamlining administrative processes and maintaining uniformity, has come under heavy scrutiny for its potential infringement on cultural identity and diversity. Click sounds in the Nama and Damara languages are integral components of the linguistic heritage of various indigenous groups in Namibia. However, the ministry's recent stance aims to simplify record keeping by asserting that click sounds could potentially lead to confusion and inconsistencies in official documentation. Government, through the Office of the Prime Minister, will allocate $892.4 million Namibian for a drought relief program to be rolled out in rural areas across all 14 regions between the 1st of October and June 2024. The program aims to assist 579,000 people. Additionally, a livestock support program will be executed from 1 October to 31 March 2024. A woman who claims that medical staff's negligence led to her daughter's death will receive 500,000 Namibian dollars following a settlement with the Ministry of Health and Social Services. Renate Njahera initially took the ministry to court for 1.9 million Namibian dollars in damages after her daughter died in January 2020. Njahera argued in court papers that she took her daughter Vademba Kaveshuto to the Vanaheda clinic in June 2019 as she had a stomach pain and was bleeding from her private parts. She was then taken to the Windhoek Central Hospital and was informed 4 days later that she was 4 months pregnant and had lost the fetus. She was diagnosed with an infection of the uterus and underwent emergency surgery to remove the pregnancy tissue from her uterus. After a meeting of Namibian and Botswana transport ministers yesterday in Windhoek, momentum is building for the planning of the Trans-Kalahari rail line. After 9 years of silence, construction is now set to begin in 2025. That is the main story Agamana Zeitung has in today's edition. Now, in 2010, the governments of Namibia and Botswana had signed a memorandum of understanding to facilitate the development of the Trans-Kalahari railroad line in Namibia. Now, this had been followed in 2014 by bilateral agreement to develop the 1,500-kilometer line with associated coal storage, haulage, loading, and other ancillary facilities. On page 3, AZ reports on the Deputy Minister Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah's visit to the Namibia Diamond Company to observe the production process. According to her, the diamond industry is of great importance for Namibia and has a great responsibility. In her address to Namibia board staff and members of the press, she emphasized the special importance of the diamond industry for the Namibian economy and urged those responsible to handle this valuable resource responsibly so that it can contribute to the prosperity of all Namibians. We swing over to the Namibian after the break.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
The executive director in the office of the Prime Minister, Ibin Nashandi, says the number of people expected to experience high levels of food insecurity in Namibia will soon rise to 695,000. Nashandi was speaking at the 2023-24 Livelihood Vulnerability Assessment and Analysis Conference in Windhoek this week. On the paper's page 3, it reports that Martin Shipanga, the owner of Ondangwa-based radio station Shipi FM, has denied claims that one of the station's long-serving employees has been dismissed. Shipanga yesterday said radio DJ and presenter Gustav Shihama has been retrenched as per Section 34 of the Labour Act. Shihama and 7 colleagues are accusing Shipanga of firing him for no reason on Wednesday morning. The 7 colleagues, all presenters, went on strike yesterday, demanding his reinstatement. Namibia's trade with BRICS countries during 2022 stood at a mammoth 97 billion Namibian dollars. This figure was shared yesterday by Head of Research at High Economic Intelligence, Salomo Hay, who said Namibia's trade with BRICS is higher than any other economic bloc. Addressing a breakfast session hosted by Deb Marie in Namibia, he noted that Namibia's total trade with various economic blocs in 2022, including the Southern African Customs Union, which amounted to 85.3 billion Namibian dollars, was combined with trade with the United States of America, UK, and the Euro area amounting to 43.1 billion Namibian dollars. Lawyers representing National Assembly Speaker Peter Kashavivi and Landless People's Movement's leaders Bernardo Swartboy and Henny Sebeb went head-to-head on Wednesday in a constitutionality challenge culminating from the infamous 2021 State of the Nation address. On 15 April 2021, Swartboy and Sebeb brought the joint sitting of Parliament to a standstill while President Hage Geingob delivered his annual State of the Nation address. The pair caused several disruptions and got embroiled in a shouting match that eventually ended in their removal from the session. The Development Bank of Namibia and KfW Development Bank signed the second concessional loan of about 600 million Namibian dollars to be used for the development of climate-related infrastructure, such as renewable energy, water and low-carbon transport projects. Climate-appropriate financing is fast-growing, not only globally but also in Namibia. The DBN addresses this much-needed financing in the local market with the support of the German Development Corporation. Now, the closure of the Ramatex garment factory almost 2 decades ago should not discourage the business communities in Namibia. We get into this with economic news after the break.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouth-watering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
The closure of the Ramatex garment factory almost 2 decades ago should not discourage the business communities in Namibia and Malaysia from working with each other and investing in the respective countries, Malaysia's top diplomat to Namibia said. As Malaysia celebrated its 66th Independence Day yesterday, that country's acting High Commissioner to Namibia, Dato Dr. Mohammed Ramez Yahaya, emphasized unity as well as increased trade and investment between the two countries. Namibia and Malaysia established formal diplomatic ties in 1995 when Namibia opened its mission to Kuala Lumpur, while Malaysia opened its mission in Windhoek a year later. The setting up of Ramatex in 2001 was seen as a major game changer for the two countries. The multi-million-dollar investment created over 1,700 jobs and positioned the Malaysian firm as one of the biggest players in the global textile industry. Let's head into the economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 18.71 next to the US dollar, with 23.68 Namibian dollars getting you 1 British pound. Most selected NSX stock closing prices maintained their value, with UNIREP still on 8.99. Trustco Group Holdings managed an uptick of 24.40%, whilst the local index closed at the same value. Copper made a downturn of 1.03%, whilst gold, platinum and Brent crude oil all registered some upticks. Now, African Union's Peace and Security Council suspended Gabon following the military coup this week.
We are so excited to be kickstarting your morning with entertainment. Everything was happening during this past weekend.
Yes.
Exciting news.
Wow, no, she was killing it already.
In my opinion, I don't see anything wrong with him serving the full term.
As well as keeping you informed on the issues that you need to know happening in and around our country.
The African Union's Peace and Security Council said on Thursday it had decided to immediately suspend Gabon following the military coup this week. The body said on X, formerly Twitter, that it strongly condemns the military takeover of power in the Republic of Gabon, which ousted President Ali Bongo on 30 August 2023, and that it decided to immediately suspend the participation of Gabon in all activities of the AU, its organs and institutions until the restoration of constitutional order in the country. The announcement came after a meeting of the council on the situation in Gabon following Wednesday's coup that followed disputed elections in which Bongo was declared the winner. On Wednesday, the head of the African Union mission, Moussa Faki Mahamat, had called on the Gabonese army and security forces to guarantee the physical integrity of Bongo. Rights group Human Rights Watch has criticized security forces in the Democratic Republic of Congo for killing dozens of protesters demonstrating against UN forces. The government has said that at least 43 people were killed when soldiers broke up a demonstration against UN peacekeepers in eastern city of Goma on Wednesday. Dozens were wounded and more than 150 arrested, including the leader of a religious sect. Stay with us as we swing over into international news. Hundreds of flights were cancelled on Friday in China's populous Guangdong province and neighboring Hong Kong ahead of Typhoon Saola's arrival, with the powerful storm forcing some mainland cities to close businesses, schools and even financial markets. 3 tropical cyclones have formed in the Northwest Pacific Ocean, Southern China Sea. Saola and Haikui were labeled typhoons, while Kirogi, the most distant from land, was still classified as a tropical storm. We'll be swinging over to local sports shortly.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
An action-packed weekend is guaranteed as the Namibia school rugby leagues reach their semi-finals, while the senior club finals are contested at the Hage Geingob Stadium. Defending NRU Premier League champions FNB Wanderers will face a stiff challenge from their arch-rivals Trasco United after they eliminated FNB Rehoboth and FNB Kudus in their respective semi-finals. Wanderers had a great season, winning their derby 33-30 and remaining unbeaten with 2 draws until being beaten in the second round at United's Field by 46-38. All matches will be broadcast by the NTV production teams. The 7th and second last round of the Namibian Enduro Championships will be held tomorrow in the hills of Elisenham near Windhoek. The 7th round promises to deliver intense competition among the riders. With only 2 rounds remaining in the championships, some riders have already secured their titles. And the Namibian pair, Luca Kesselman and Max Kraft, secured the 5th position in the under-21 age group at the recently concluded African Beach Volleyball Championships in Casablanca, trying with the host country, Burundi and Nigeria. The overall title was claimed by the Gambian pair, Mario Dampa and Nyabali Laiti. Let's head into international sport. Now, Paris Saint-Germain will kick off their quest for a maiden Champions League trophy in a strong Group F featuring Borussia Dortmund, AC Milan and Newcastle United following the draw on Thursday. PSG, AC Milan and Dortmund have crossed paths on multiple occasions in Europe's elite competition, but it's a tough welcome back to the Champions League for Newcastle, who will be playing in the tournament for the first time in 20 years. After 2 wins in 2 matches plus 3 goals and an assist for new striker Harry Kane, Bayern Munich have roared into the Bundesliga season ahead of Saturday's trip to Borussia Mönchengladbach. Now, however, Gladbach have become Bayern's major bogey side in a recent campaign. Despite dominating domestically over the past decade, Bayern have won only 1 of their past 7 against that team. Formula One Championship leader Max Verstappen dismissed on Thursday the suggestion that his Red Bull car was designed to suit his driving style more than the teammates he has destroyed. Mercedes team boss Toto Wolff told reporters at last weekend's Dutch Grand Prix that he struggled to understand the single-lap gap between Verstappen and his teammate Sergio Perez. Verstappen is heading for his 3rd world title and leads the Mexican, his closest rival, by a hefty 138 points after 13 races. If you're just joining us, this is NMH at 1, and we'll get into the highlights from today's broadcast shortly. The African Union's Peace and Security Council said on Thursday it had decided to immediately suspend Gabon following the military coup this week. Hundreds of flights were cancelled on Friday in China's popular Guangdong province and neighboring Hong Kong ahead of Typhoon Saola's arrival.